And I think we're live right now, guys. What's going on? Hopefully, your Sunday went very, very well. If your team made the playoffs, like the Browns and the Packers, we're happy guys today. If you fell a little short this year, that hurts. Hey, Dolphins fans, specifically a Nick Ryan, who's been a customer of mine for about 6 years now. You got something building down there. So you got a good coach. You got something to be happy about. It hurts losing like that, but you're going to be around for a while. I like what the Dolphins are building, so don't look down.
I agree with you, and at least Nick has Ohio State to hang his hat on this week. So we got that big weekend for Ohio sports, no doubt.
Congratulations to your Browns for getting there for the first time since the late 1700s. But man, going to be a fun game when they take on Pittsburgh next week.
It's funny. The last time the Browns were in the playoffs was 2002. I was a senior in high school. I remember it like it was yesterday. The Browns played at Pittsburgh in the wild card, and Ohio State played for the national championship that week, that Monday night. Same exact thing this weekend.
Oh, boy. All right, guys. Well, we got a lot we can talk about sports-wise. It's great to have this stuff back in our lives, but we are here to break down the Monday NBA slate. Members-only video is already out and posted in the groups for all you customers, guys. Let's get after it today, and I swear, we are going to stop cursing our mutual favorite play. Like, our long shots have all hit way more successfully than our mutual favorite play of the day. It's just bad luck at this point, I think, but we're going to get after it today.
It will change.
Yeah, it's weird that our favorite play is the one that doesn't work out while the long shots are like almost go down on the daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So don't forget to check out our show sponsors, Overlay Fantasy Sports. It's funny because I keep mentioning that we'll do some of these progressive jackpot breakdowns. And if it's out early today, we're going to do it. We just need the NBA to stop leaving us in situations where guys like Luka and Harden are questionable all day long, and they can't get the info to put it out there. But if you want to give it a whirl, they got these big-ass progressive jackpots people can win. Our boy DFS Wolfpack won like $21,000 last year doing it. If you want to check out the matchup shop, it's straight fire, guys. We will do our best to get you some information today as we are wrapping up the DK videos early in the day.
Let's get it.
All right, guys, promotions. I got a couple of them for you today. One, I'll call this Monthly Monday. What I mean by that is a $10 rebate to all new monthly customers today. We got about a month left of NFL because we will cover the playoffs. So you get your full month of NFL, you get all the NBA information, and you get a $10 rebate today. And we will get a public video of the members only out to you guys this week. If you can help us out by giving us 200 likes today, all you got to do is slide your finger onto the thumbs up button. We get 200 of those. We will get you a members only video free to the public today. And all it costs you is about half a second to press the like button.
Let's get it.
Day passes are available through the website. $5 for the day. You get it emailed right to you. Subscribe to the station if you're new to it. Again, we mentioned the thumbs up. We will stick with the new format, and we will start with a cash game play for the day. I wouldn't say he's my top cash game play, but there's a lot of misinformation out there early in the day without knowing about Luka and James Harden. So he's a guy I feel very comfortable talking with you guys about today. And that is a young rising superstar in this game, Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics. Availability to you today is at the 3 and the 4, the small forward and the power forward at 8,600. And one of the reasons I find him quite desirable, especially if like a Luka Doncic is out today, we're going to get a lot of pay down options available at the guard spots. We got a guy in the cover today that might also take up a guard spot. I think you're going to have potentially some money to spend at the forward positions. And while I don't look at Toronto as like this major like upside spot like in Atlanta, their defense has been off this year. The losses of Ibaka and Gasol might be bigger than people realized. Also, trying to incorporate new centers into there just might not be great for the team defense early on to start the year, as we've seen guys put up some good DFS scores against Toronto. We also saw Tatum put up monster DFS scores against Toronto in the 7-game series in the playoffs. Also, I just like best players, and Tatum is the best Boston Celtic in games that I expect to be competitive. We've seen so many blowouts this year, but we're looking at two teams that went deeper into the playoffs the last couple of seasons right here. I expect Tatum to have his typical role on this team as the best player on the Boston Celtics. He gives you a high floor and a decent ceiling. I just think he's somebody that's very, very dependable today.
I agree. A lot to like here again, and you touched on it. It's very hard to break down this slate in totality without knowing Luka and Harden. Unlikely that both those guys play in our eyes, though, so you're going to have guard value. You're going to have money to spend up on it. There aren't a ton of guys on this slate that are like must-play locks. Tatum is a guy, you mentioned the matchup with Toronto. If nothing else, we expect this game to be competitive, which in the nowadays NBA means a lot. So, again, it's not the perfect matchup, but Tatum at 8,600 looks really good. Another point that you didn't bring up here, he struggled in the first half yesterday or the day before. I don't know when that game was. It
Day
might have
before.
been day before. Okay. Wasn't very good in the first half. Still ended with 60 DK points. You gotta like that.
Yeah, there's a lot to like with Tatum. And you have to enjoy a high floor play at a very reasonable price. You know what I mean? Like, this is a weird day to look at like a Giannis at more expensive. I think there's a great opportunity for Tatum to outscore Giannis today, because if Detroit's running out their D squad, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, like Giannis could play 22 minutes today. I expect Tatum to play like 37, 38.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, let's talk about your GPP lock of the day. The two things I want to break up before I'll let you get into your boy here is I think he's fine in all formats. So I don't think this is strictly GPP. I think he's fine in any format you're playing in today. But I've watched a lot of Atlanta the last couple of days, and I really like the chemistry. I'm starting to see Capella and Trey develop in the pick and roll. I think this is going to be an easy way for Capella to put up points on a nightly basis.
I agree with you for both points, but especially the first one. He's definitely not only a GPP guy. He's just happens to be my favorite play of the day, and I'm the tournament guy, so I brought him up in the GPP mold.
For example, yesterday, Taylor was your favorite play of the day. He was a need in all formats.
Yeah, exactly. And we both like Capella. That's the thing about this slate. I feel like our plays kind of go with each other. They really flow. We both kind of like the same guy, so it's not necessarily a cash is different from GPP type of day. Capella's just too cheap at 6,100. We've seen him back playing normal minutes the past couple of games. He's been productive. He's in a fine spot here against New York. I love the point about him and Trey developing chemistry. I think we're going to see his price slowly increase. He's going to be about 7K. It's gonna level off. Until then, though, he's about $1,000 too cheap. He's just a solid play in all formats. I like him quite a bit. He's been good for us. He was good for us a couple nights ago. I see no reason why we shouldn't just go right back here.
So the big worry for me last time out with him was, what does this mean as far as like he's going to play today? Is he going to play less minutes? Because they said game one, we are going to monitor his minutes early. They ran him 20 minutes back-to-back games, and then they just took the gloves off right away. Well, that's great. I see no reason, none, that should change tonight. The flip side of that, because I could actually see him playing 33 minutes today, 34 minutes. By the end of the season, I think Capella is a guy that they'll want to play 35, 36 minutes tonight. They talked about it throughout almost the entirety of the last two Hawks games. This is what Atlanta has needed. They have needed a big athletic body inside for their team to kind of hit that next level. You know, the additions of Bogdanovich and Galloway's eventually out there, Rajon Rondo, those are all going to help. But they were desperate for an athletic big man to pair with Collins, because Collins can be a stretch four. And this is everything that they've been looking for. He's just going to have a monster role with this team. And don't be surprised that, within a few weeks, he's the 8K guy he was for Houston kind of religiously.
Yeah, agreed. Like 7K is like the floor. So anything below that, like I'm locking him in.
Yeah, and he could play 34 minutes today. They played him 30 and 31 the other day. Maybe they're like, he's ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we want to talk about the cover boy today. We got him down here as one of our favorite plays to go over for the day, and that's John Wall. I know you were really, really big on him entering the season. I had a buddy over to watch some of the games yesterday, and he got John Wall in our year-long leagues, and he way overpaid for him, like on the ESPN projected prices on auction drafts. And him and I were both talking about how we just thought he would be really good, but potentially great if James Harden all of a sudden ended up on a different team. So as it stands right now, Harden appears to be firmly questionable. But we talked about this throughout the members only video. It smells fishy. I'm not sure what's going on in Houston. Harden could come out and play 40 minutes today and put up 80 points possibly. He may not play for a week or two. I have no clue what's going on. We love him if Harden's out, but we still like him even if Harden does play. It just changes how much you like him and how much of a necessity he is. It's also going to have a major influence over how popular he is. If Harden is out, Wall will be chalky as hell. If Harden is in, he'll still get some love, but then he might be more of a GPP play in a way.
So one thing we didn't even talk about, that a big reason why I still love or like Wall a lot, even if Harden's in, is because Wall is one of these guys that no matter who he's on the floor with, he thinks he's the best player on the floor. He's been that guy for his entire life. He's always had the ball in his hands. Even when you have a guy like James Harden, John Wall still thinks he's that guy. So yeah, if Harden's out here, I mean, we've seen 2 games of John Wall now. We don't know if it will be like this every game, but he looks like the John Wall Bowl. We saw him be productive with Harden. We saw him be extremely productive without Harden. How he looks right now, I think he's just too cheap at 7,600. We know what his game is. He's in a good spot here against Dallas. I think this game is competitive. I'm glad we both like him a lot here. And yeah, if Harden's out, he's the first guy you plug in. If Harden's in, he's not that guy, but I still like him a lot at much lower ownership, as you mentioned.
So the other day we did a showdown video, and we talked about the Kings versus the Rockets game because it was an island game for the day and it wasn't paired with any of the other slates. And at that point, when we talked it over, there was no reason to believe James Harden wasn't going to play. Information came out about 30 minutes beforehand or whatever it was that he was out. And like I put Wall in the captain position instantly. And I think if my memory serves me correctly, he was damn near 50% in the captain position at that day. So that's how people are going to feel about him if James Harden is out. Expect him to be chalk if James Harden doesn't play today for all the obvious reasons. He'll be wildly, wildly popular. But if Harden is in there, then I think he's still double-digit owned. But, I mean, you become closer to like 15% as opposed to 80%.
It was also like interesting to me that even when Harden played and he was very good, like Wall, like there's just something you mentioned. There's something fishy going on in Houston.
Yeah, like I was wondering when we heard that the other day, and like he's got a knee injury, and I'm always a little bit of a conspiracy theorist on some of these NBA injuries on some of these bigger names. I'm like, is there a deal in the works all of a sudden to get him out of there? Are they trying to play without him? Is he secretly being punished, and we don't want it like they don't want the public to know about it? For all I know, it's just a real injury, maybe, and I'm just playing devil's advocate on this one, but it smells weird.
For sure.
So, all right, guys, we're going to keep moving on, and we're going to get into the long shots of the day. And I want to be very, 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 very upfront about this one. This is the true definition of a long shot. Some days we talk long shot, but it's a guy who's going to ball. You brought up Steph Curry the other day. We thought he was a longer shot based on ownership percentage, but Steph Curry ain't a long shot because he's great. This is Jahlil Okafor of the Detroit Pistons. This is a true definition of a long shot. He's going to be like 1% owned today unless something changes in Detroit. But this is going to be a game that's lined up to be one of the larger talent discrepancies in the NBA this year. So as it stands, a lot of guys on the Pistons are getting a little love because we think they're going to be without Derrick Rose, potentially Josh Jackson, and maybe Blake Griffin today. And if all those guys are out, the Pistons are just a terrible basketball team because they're not that good to begin with, and now you're taking out a bunch of their best players. The Bucks are at home, haven't had a couple games this year where they have run people out of the gym because their three-point shooting is just crushing people. You could see this one what is it, a 16-point projected spread?
Yeah, it could be that at the end of the first quarter easily.
Or more, right? Like if those dudes aren't playing, this is just a major talent discrepancy, and the game is in Milwaukee. Detroit has been fighting this year. They've been punching above their weight class, but this could be the spot where it comes all crashing down. So what we're looking at this game in a true, like, deeper definition of long shots, I could see a position where Jahlil Okafor plays the entire fourth quarter against a bunch of Bucks backups with like a 30-point difference in the score, and he's just out there putting up DFS points. You got to think a guy like this who is just a walking disappointment from an NBA type of like level, like he was one of the top picks and it just never amounted to anything, that he still has some skill set. We've seen him with monster DFS games before, and you can see him having a massive fourth quarter in that type of situation. It's not a cash game play, and it's not even a GPP guy for maybe somebody who plays a 3-entry max. This is for somebody who plays a lot of entries and is looking for that true sleeper at no ownership.
Or you don't mind, like if you're playing that 3-entry max and one of your lineups taking the shot, but you have to know, you mentioned it, this is the true definition of a long shot. We've talked about other guys, Curry at low ownership. This is such a long shot. I mean, there's chances he doesn't play or he only plays very, very limited minutes. So know what you're getting into here. However, as you put it, if the game plays out like we think it might, like Vegas thinks it might, there are real opportunities for him to be, quite honestly, one of the highest scoring guys in this game. It obviously depends on how the game goes up before that, but it's not crazy to think that if the Pistons are just getting rolled out of the building, that at the end of the day, he's the highest scoring Piston.
Yeah, man, again, I want to be completely transparent on this, guys. I don't want to get like a YouTube message later in the day, Okafor didn't even play. Yeah, that's a possibility. However, he's going to play in my mind if Blake Griffin and Josh Jackson are out of this game. Not major minutes, and you still need the discrepancy. But if those guys aren't in there, like Detroit just is very devoid of talent at that point.
Truth.
So,
I mean, I think at the point right now, they're already devoid of talent. So at that point, yes, even more so.
Definitely. So then the flip side of this, we're going to bring up another guy from this game as your long shot of the day. So all those same points apply, but also for the Bucks today, Pat Connaughton has all but been ruled out, and there's no Merrill today either. So they are going to have a shorter rotation of who their quote quote-unquote scrubs. Bryn Forbes is not a scrub. He's just a scrub by the Bucks player standards.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a guy that was playing good minutes for the Spurs, was a guy that Popovich liked a lot, was always good from three-point range. I mean, he was the guy for San Antonio that, was never a guy we'd be targeting a lot. But if he were in, we'd be less on, Dejounte Murray, what's his name? Patty Mills. Yeah, exactly. So, listen, it kind of fits with the Okafor pick. I think I feel safer with Forbes because I think that his run is probably a little more guaranteed.
He plays no matter what. He's going to play.
Yes. On the flip side, though, Okafor is just a better DFS player because he's a big man who can walk into DFS points. Forbes needs to make his threes to be DFS relevant, which he could be in a really good spot today. And again, the last point, if Luka's out and we have all those Dallas guards in play, it's very, very hard to get here, especially on like a 3-entry max. However, everyone will be thinking that, and there's a chance Luka plays today. If Luka plays, I think he moves just higher up the pecking order.
Yeah, he's a very, very good three-point shooter.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do a ton of other things. But if the Bucks are up by a ton, who do you think sitting on the bench in the fourth quarter? Middleton, Giannis, Brook Lopez, Drew Holiday, for example. And then one of their other point guards, DJ Augustine, is a much older player that not necessarily wouldn't be out there. But I would see them playing Forbes over DJ Augustine because he's just a younger guy. You just want to get him very, very comfortable in this system because he is one of the better, not talked about shooters in the NBA. He is just a flat-out stud from the three-point range. And this is one of those spots where you could see him hitting 4, 5, 6, 7 three-pointers, running into a couple of assists, and putting up 25, 26, 27 DK points.
Yeah, I mean, if he hits 4 threes in this game, he's going to be valuable.
Yeah, because he's a really, really good shooter. He's not much of a commodity to how most people understand him. And again, it's just you need Milwaukee probably to really roll on this one. So pay attention to who's in and out from Detroit.
For sure.
All right, guys, that's what we got for today. Monthly memberships, $10 rebates, and everything like that. Get that to that 200 likes so we can get you guys out a members-only video to the public this week. Best of luck tonight, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Thanks, guys.